Welcome back to WGN for today. We saw that Microsoft's bringing out their next console data before E3, which kind of concerned us. We had lots of predictions why we think that this possibly is. We have Justin here. He's going to explain to us exactly why this might possibly.
Okay, as we saw that Microsoft is set to reveal their console on May 21st this year. Now, the reason why I think they're doing it, and we think they're doing it before E3, is that Apple could possibly be there. This comes from a long stems of events, that being that, first of all, Apple announced a new product line coming this year. And as we all know, they have every kind of device out there, except the game console. And also for the fact that Nintendo is not going to be there while doing their main big press conference. They will be having a little, invitation-only conference later on in the convention, but that's about it. So
kind of like Nintendo
there's
Direct.
There's always three main press conferences. So it brings speculation to be that could Apple be showing up there?
Well, this is where I'm going with this right now. If Apple, let's say we find out that this is confirmed, there's a few issues that do come to mind though, is that Apple is just not known for gaming, and you know that pretty good, because if I took a wild guess at what you have at your place right now, would be PC for your operating system, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Or you...
That is mainly due to Apple not having very good
specs?
Gaming computers. No one wants to build a game really for Apple because of that, and because all the loopholes and all the difficulty
well,
to get it out on Apple.
Let's say this new console does come out. You think HD is going to be in this console? Because last time I checked, Apple's specs aren't really there, are they?
Yeah, Apple, I don't understand. I understand them making a console to try to get back into the market and try it again in today's market. Because if you haven't known, they did make a console several years ago. It actually released in the 90s. But it just never succeeded due to the high flood of Sega and Atari and Nintendo out there. That it basically went under the radar and no one really bought it.
Well, that's another thing. If Apple, let's say Apple does bring this out, why is Microsoft right now so concerned of let's bring out the data before E3? A lot of people are saying Microsoft, bring your biggest thing to E3. And we've talked about later about the idea of maybe there's something else bigger coming at E3. Maybe we think that something bigger than the Xbox 720, if we're still calling it that, could be possibly on its way. And it just...
Yeah, maybe something... I agree with you, something bigger must be coming, because Sony and Microsoft both have always saved at the convention to unveil their new consoles. But they're doing it early, and for Microsoft to not show it off all this time and wait. But another thing is, E3 just shipped out their schedules to all these people about what's going to be at E3. So it just adds further speculation that because if you do the math, they just found out maybe that possibly some big name companies coming to E3 that's going to have something that's going to blow up and take all the attention off of them. So why not unveil it now, and not have your attention get taken away? Well, so pretty much, they're scared that if we don't reveal it now, people aren't going to care about it in the future.
If I had guaranteed you that, how many Apple fanboys do you think are on Xbox right now, if you took a guess?
Lots, because Apple is you have to remember, Apple is one of the biggest, growing markets ever. People camp out overnight for their phones. Never mind for a console. And there's a lot of people I know personally too would probably go over to Apple to game for console if they came out with one.
But
because they're just Apple lovers.
But we take a look at this again. If I've already talked about the specs of what Apple was known for to bring out for their Mac systems, and usually PCs are good. Like the Xbox are pretty much going up against the PCs, but PC is still pretty much Microsoft because it's actually still like again, an Xbox is pretty much like a PC almost because it's made by Microsoft.
Yeah,
and the same goes for PC, right? So if a Mac
That's what I was
sucks,
going to say. Like Apple
Hmm?
is Microsoft's biggest competition across the board. And well, not really gaming because they don't have game stuff right now. But as I'm saying, like for music players and everything, and they already take away from Microsoft. So if they make a game console, Microsoft's probably scared that Apple will be taking away even more from them.
And another thing that comes to mind, when we heard about the Wii U, we knew that games are on their way. If Apple does this last minute announcement, there's not going to be many games maybe for launch for this particular console. Like we've known about the 720 about 2 years ago, and now we know what's coming out sometime this year. If Apple says that we're bringing out a console this, or let's say they're bringing out one this year, because it'd be stupid to bring out one 2 years, you know what I mean, like 1 year over, and
Yeah, like
more people will be with the Xbox 720 anyway.
but
Like
the other big thing,
it wouldn't have the games.
the other big thing that interests me is maybe Apple is bringing it out because if you think about it, look at what happened with look at how what do you call it? Google is coming out with their own
They're bringing out a console.
phone.
Oh yeah.
Not the phone. Yeah, Google's bringing out a console. Remember you were telling me about that. Really, like Google and them are bringing out a console. It's like some sort of, I don't know really. It's a tablet that converts into a console. I never really checked it out, but you were telling me about that.
It's kind of like Android bringing out a console right now, and I think that's where Apple kind of wants to go up against Android, Microsoft, like two of their biggest competitions. Wouldn't you agree? Like they don't like that.
Yeah, they are two of their biggest competitions.
But like I was mentioning before,
And like you're saying, like if Apple comes out with a console, Microsoft is gonna lose a lot of customers because
but we come down to that.
Apple fanboys.
But we come down to that again is that if let's say Apple, because the idea is that if Xbox is going to bring out a new console, they tell us a year before. Sony did it, Nintendo did it. But if Apple decides to do a last minute, let's bring out this brand new console. This will basically what would happen? Well, you'd probably see Angry Birds on this flipping thing. I can go out and buy that on an iPad. What that is not much of a convincing to let's go spend all this money because Apple's known for that expensive thing. Let's go buy a console that I can play Angry Birds on. That I could probably go buy an iPad to do that. And you know what I'm getting at, aren't you? Like
Yeah, like you're saying, like why are they doing this now?
but keep in
Why are
mind
they
this is
doing
all
this now?
speculation though. Like
When they could sorry, I'm easier. Like, yeah, why is Microsoft doing it now? Too, they should have waited to E3.
Yeah.
You're right, if Apple does show up there miraculously with just out of the blue, I wonder what they're gonna have. Like you said, the only game that I really know they could possibly have on it is probably Angry Birds, because Angry Birds has already been brought to a console.
you could also say any of the iPad apps, but if I'm gonna go buy a console that's always at home, and I can have the idea between spending $800 or even past $1,000 for a console, most people are gonna say anyway, I'm gonna go to the iPads because they're cheaper. They pretty much would have all the stuff that the consoles would have. I guarantee that this new console would probably have high definition, but it would be competing pretty much with Nintendo right now because what we see would be what would turn out. Plus, these consoles have been in this bit of this competition at each other for years and years and years, and Nintendo's been farther than that.
Like, and also like you said is, if Apple comes out with a console, like you're right, like it's probably gonna be overpriced because look at all the Apple devices they've ever brought out.
Yep.
All the devices Apple has, their iPads, their iPods, their iMacs, their MacBooks, they're all overpriced. They're all like, who's gonna pay tell me this: when a console comes out, who's gonna go in and pay $1,500?
Yeah,
for
I
it?
know. Like, if you have a choice between a a PlayStation 4, a Xbox 720, a Wii U, or this brand new Apple device, what most likely are you gonna head to if? Which one are you gonna most head to if you've always been with it, but you've always wanted to go with Apple products, but this one's like $1,500 and you're a little unsure with this device? Like, yeah, I know Microsoft's scared, but what seems more like the way everyone's gonna go?
Like more people go to Microsoft because you have to admit it's also a rough economy. Who's gonna spend $1,500 on? If I'm just throwing that price out there because they always have their devices priced out of the range. Who's gonna spend that much money on a console? Not many people, because it's just not much money out there because people economy, you know.
And I know you were saying something about something else could be possibly turning in. I know you were mentioning a little bit that maybe there's another third party in this possible choice.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the big what if? What if Sega showed up again in the console market? Because people have been rumoring, it's kind of a rumor ever since Sega quit that 1 year. One day they'll be coming back, like they always hinted at, because they always said, guy of Sega, I forget his name. Every E3 he is asked the same question, and he says maybe we will, maybe we won't. Yeah, hasn't been asked this E3, but you never know. Maybe Sega will make a console one day.
One of these days.
Or maybe it's this weekend. Maybe this is this year, because if you think, Microsoft and Sony are there doing a keynote. There's always 3 keynotes. Nintendo or confirmed they're not doing a keynote. So if you think about it, it can be Apple, because they say new product line being revealed soon. Or it could be a total out of the ballpark, no proof, or just total speculation.
Hey, Jess, can you talk a bit louder?
Or just total no proof. Really, I have, but other than that, they've had a successful console thing in the past, is having Sega come out again. I don't know.
Now, that's pretty much everything we've talked about today, right? Unless you have something else.
Yeah, like we said, it could be Apple coming out with a console maybe there, and that's why all the companies are in a hurry to reveal their stuff so they don't get outshined by Apple. Or Sega, like I said, which will show or Microsoft has something even bigger than the 720 as it's named right now.
The brand new Halo 5. Yay! Wait, that's not bigger than 720. So we don't really know, but is this pretty much everything you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, like I was gonna say about the Apple console, and that's about it.
That's pretty much all?
Possibly an Apple console.
Okay.
They've had a console in the past.
Yeah, but it didn't do too well.
The Pippins.
If Apple fails once, Apple's most likely going to fail again. And I know the Apple fanboys right now are disliking this video as we talk, but I'm telling you guys from a truthful way I can say this, is that if you fail once, if you fail again, and if they fail right this time, the third time will just basically be nothing. If this is true, I think Apple's definitely going to fail at this. Would you pretty much agree?
Yeah.
Is this pretty much everything we wanted to talk about today, Justin?